Hello people, I'm Bharat Acharya. Welcome to a new lecture. So today we are doing C programming, Mumbai University last year's question paper. Yes, June 2023. So you are preparing for your exam. You have to learn the subject. Okay, don't just rely on past question papers. That's not the right approach. It may still give you marks, but that's not the right approach. First, learn the subject, but see to it that when you're going for the exam, you have covered your most important part, that is your last year's question paper. In fact, if you're really someone who is aiming to get very good marks, like topping the class, take care of the last 4 question papers. If you know everything that has come in the last 4 question papers without any options, you know everything, you practically set for the exam. 60% of the paper will be a straightforward repetition amongst these questions. 60% of the paper, all right? 20 to 25% will be something very close to this, with just a few change in numbers or few change in the way the question is asked, but pretty much the same. And 10 to 15%, about 2 to 3 questions in the whole paper would be brand new, which they will keep. It's Mumbai University. It's one of the best in India. They have to maintain their standard. So there will be some curveballs thrown at you. There will be something new, surprise. But most of the paper will be a repetition of questions that have been asked in the last 4 papers. So if you are smart and you paid attention to what I said right now, don't run around people and asking them for importance. These are importance. Do this properly, you are set for the exam. Alright, now just before we start, one small thing I want to tell you, how important it is for you to crack C programming in your first year in this particular exam. I'll tell you. See, in first year, C was the only programming subject, just one programming subject throughout the year. What do you think? Is engineering like this? All through engineering, you're going to do maths, physics, chemistry? No. As you move ahead in engineering, this is very important. Pay attention. As you move ahead in engineering, in every semester, more and more subjects will involve programming. Right in the next semester, there'll be 3 subjects involving programming. I teach them, so I know that. Whether you're in comms, whether you're in IT, whether you're in AI, whether you're in ML, or even if you're in 𝗕𝗂𝗂𝗏𝗃, at least 2 subjects will involve programming. So, what are you understanding from this? A good score in C, in the top ranks, in the top 10%, 10 people of the class, gives you such a big confidence boost. I'm telling you from personal experience. I learned programming in school. So because that, throughout engineering, whenever there was a subject of programming, there was an inherent confidence in me because I knew it's programming. I know I can do it. I know it's easy for me. That's what should be your approach. On the other hand, there's a whole set of people in the class who don't do programming. You have seen it already. This separation starts happening by second year, third year, sometimes in first year itself. You will see in a class of about 50 students, 10 to 15 people actually write programs, the remaining copy. What do you think? You want to be in that lot? Those are the people who are scared of programming, and that fear will be their biggest block, the mental block which they'll impose on themselves in every subject which involves programming. And for them, engineering, the whole journey of engineering becomes a challenge. They keep running away from programs, trying to find shortcuts to still crack the paper. It's not going to take you anywhere. The moment companies come for placement, the moment they see you sit across someone for an interview, it'll be very clear whether you're a programmer or not. And if you're not, it's not that you won't get a job. It's not that you won't get a good career, but you're just making it far more difficult for yourself. You see those every year, people walk away with fabulous jobs, good pay packages, straight away go for taken to US or straight away taken to top positions in companies. That is because they are great at programming. And that separation starts from this semester, from that 10-15% people in the class who ace this subject, because that confidence is what takes them forward. You don't do well in C programming now. Next semester, you are catching up to their level, whereas those people are taking part in competitions because by now they are good at programming. And that's when they build their resumes, they've won competitions, they've done extracurricular courses, and that difference becomes so much that the catch-up game becomes practically impossible to achieve. So don't be in that situation. Don't dig yourself into a hole. Take this subject very seriously. This is not maths. This is not physics. This is not chemistry, which has no effect in your further career. This is C programming. This is the first programming subject you encountered. Ace this, all right? And one sure way of doing it is knowing everything that has been asked in the last 4 question papers. So in my course of C programming, I've covered everything that has come, even the physical batches that I take. If you want just the solutions, you'll find them in my Instagram. I keep uploading them, just the solutions. But you want the explanation, watch the videos. Yeah, just the solutions. Yeah, if you solved it and you want to verify, that's cool. But if you don't know what it is, watch the video, learn the subject. All right, let's begin. The first question. This is last year's main paper, all right? No KT paper, no nonsense. Main actual paper what your seniors attempted. Now, question number 1 in Mumbai University and most universities is compulsory. In question number 1, there are sub-questions where you have an option. Each question is totally 15 marks. The sub-questions are 5 marks. You have to attempt 3. Okay, there are 5. You have to attempt 3. Now, of course, I'm going to teach you all the 5. Then in your exam, whatever you get, based on that, you attempt. Now, very few questions in the whole paper are really theory questions, because this is not a theory subject. It's a program. It's C programming. So the whole paper is full of programs. It's rare that you find a theory subject, a question like this. List and explain different components of a computer system. This is a very light question. I'm happy that something like this came in question number 1. Every student starts the paper with a smile because it's so easy. A school kid will answer this. What are the components in a computer system? You tell me without me showing you the answer. What are the components? You have a what? Yeah, you have a keyboard, mouse, printer, monitor, and the processor. That's your computer system. Keyboard and mouse are what? Input devices. They give inputs. Printer and monitor, they are output devices, they generate outputs. None of them really do our processing. Come on, you're smart enough to understand. You want to add 2 numbers. You enter the 2 numbers on the keyboard. Is the keyboard adding them? Is the mouse adding them? No. All processing happens inside. Keyboard and mouse are just giving inputs. Printer and monitor are just giving outputs. So this is called the output section. There's a whole memory section inside the computer. Yeah, RAM, ROM, that's primary memory. Then there is secondary memory, that's hard disk, solid state disk, CD, DVD, pen drives, etc. That's memory. What does memory do? Store. Memory is only used to store information. It doesn't process anything. So elaborate on memories, give the various examples of memories. That's more like general knowledge. What's the size of your hard disk? Hard disk. Yeah, what's the size of your hard disk? 1 TB? Exactly. 1 TB, 2 TB is what most people have. Someone may have a 3 TB hard disk, though it's not really required. Most of us store things in cloud anyway. Someone may have a 512 GB hard disk, that's also fine. Lesser than that doesn't really work in today's world, but yeah, if you still have it, nothing we shy about. But those are the normal sizes. Similarly, RAM. What's the size of your RAM? You have to know this. Yeah, this is general knowledge. It's not even like this answer. Of course, I've given everything in the answer, but it's more like general knowledge. You need to know that. So 8 GB is what most people have. 12 GB, 16 GB if you're a gamer, that's fine. 32 GB if you're a hardcore gamer. 4 GB if you have an older computer, it'll still work. It'll be sluggish, but it'll still work. Below 4 GB will not handle modern systems. So for anything from 8 GB to 16 GB is a good answer about RAM. ROM is about 1 or 2 MB, 3, 4 MB, depending on which computer. We don't really use the ROM. It's internal for the processor because it's permanent. It's read-only memory. CD, DVDs, you know the sizes. CD is about 700 MB, DVDs 4.7 GB. Pen drives, you get in variety of sizes. So give examples. And the most important part of the computer is its processor. So let me just give you the formal diagram that you need to draw when you have this question. Here it is with all the markings. The processor, the memory, the I/O. This is a computer. Are you clear? Everything else is just the plastic and the casing and the wiring, but this is the core of a computer, the logical understanding of a computer. And this is not applies only to a desktop, whether it's a laptop, whether it's a tablet, whether it's a phone, whether it's a smartwatch. All of them have this internal structure. They have a processor, they have memory, and they have I/O. I/O is used for human interaction. We give inputs and produce outputs. Memory is used for storage, various forms of memories, which I just described. Give all of them in your answer. And processor is where all the action takes place. It's the one that runs all the programs. Remember this, every activity in a computer is a program. And every program is run by your processor. So you remove the processor, your computer is a piece of, it's just luggage. The action takes place in the processor. So the more powerful the processor you have, the faster, the better your computer is. Again, processors, it's nice to give examples. You give examples, you're telling the examiner, I know everything. So give valid examples. Modern computers have processors which are Intel Core i3, i5, i7, i9 if you really have that. If you're an Apple system, you have M1, M2, maybe M3. You may be even having an AMD processor. So these are valid names of processors. Take any one. If you give your own one, that's great. Or just know the correct names. Don't take primitive examples like 8085, 8086. Yeah, I teach all of them. They are the original processors. That's where it all started from. So whenever you learn microprocessor subject, it will come in second year, third year for all of you all. That time you'll be learning these processors. But now the ones that you use in the computer are these. What does it do? It executes programs and it processes data. One more minute on this answer and then we go ahead. Many students don't really understand the difference between program and data. I'm sure you are clear about it, right? What? Instagram is a program. The reels that you watch are the data. YouTube is a program. This video that you're watching is data. WhatsApp, program. The messages, data. Word, program. Documents, data. Spotify, program. Songs, data. You get the point? So a processor runs the programs. That means you run your apps, and those programs process the data, which they play music, they play videos, they show you reels, or whatever you do with those apps. You're getting the point? So all that action is taking place in the processor. All the storage happens in the memory, and the human interaction happens with I/O. Explain all of them with examples, and you're sorted. Remember, it's a 5-mark question. Don't write your heart out. It's a 5-mark question. 1 mark you get for this diagram. 4 marks is what you're writing for. A page and a half, maximum 2 pages if you're a fast writer. Anything more than that, you're just wasting time. You already have got your marks. Let's go ahead. So this was practically the only theory question in this whole paper. Yes, everything else is programming. All right, let's go ahead. Don't get scared. Look at this question. Find a right program to find the max of 3 numbers. Such an easy question, and it has come in 3 out of the last 4 papers. Yes, you heard it right. 3 out of the last 4 papers. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. Know your last 4 papers. By this itself, you understand how much repetition happens in papers. Know your last 4 papers and you are sorted. All right. Know your last paper for sure if you want to ensure that you pass. And then beyond that, the more papers you do, the higher you get. If you want to be in the top category, know your last 4 papers properly. Now, max of 3 numbers. Don't look at all that. Create logic in your mind. Come on, it's so easy. It's like the hello world. It's so easy. You have 3 numbers, A, B, C. Okay, I want to know which is the highest. What are you going to do? First, compare A and B. If A wins, B is out of question. Now compare A and C. If A wins, A is the highest. If C wins, C is the highest. Why? Because A had defeated B and C has defeated A. That means C is the highest. That's your logic. Say it. That's it. Say it again. Say it again. Compare A and B. If A wins, B is out. Compare A and C. If A wins, A is the highest, else C is the highest. Now all this with the assumption that A won the first competition. When you compared A and B, if B wins, A is out. Now the same thing. Compare B and C. If B wins again, B is the max, else C is the max. Tell me, did you understand this? So easy. Yes or no? Say it again. Pause the video, say the logic again. What are you feeling shy about? If this is the first program that you're actually doing in all your sincereness, pause the video, say the logic, see to it. It's the first program, okay? That the whole journey of a programmer, you'll remember this for years, that this is how you started creating logic. Compare 3 numbers. Here, I've written the algorithm over here. In the exam, you don't need to write the algorithm. You write it, you have the time, great. Accept 3 numbers, A, B, C. First, compare A and B. If A is greater than B, that means who won? A. So B is out of question. In this section, B is out of question because A has won. Now, if A is greater than C, that means it has won against both. A is the max. Else, C is the max because A had defeated B and C has defeated A. That means C is the max. Tell me, did you understand? Now, this whole section works when A is greater than B. But if this case itself is not satisfied, we go to the else part. That means who lost? A lost. So now the contest is between whom and whom? B and C. If this B is greater than C, B is the max, else C is the max. The same logic I have shown in the form of a flowchart. Why? Because in one of the papers, they didn't even ask to write the program. They just said, draw the flowchart for this. Wow, just draw this flowchart and you get your 5 marks. And so easy. If you understood this logic, this flowchart depicts this logic. Now, something about flowcharts. There are certain symbols that represent certain things. The start and the end, you can call it end, done, home. Various textbooks write different names. It means the same thing. So start and end have to be ovals. Can you see this is an oval symbol? Yeah, I mean, it has to be like that. Okay, don't change it. Processes, the normal processes that you do, like this, they all need to be rectangular in shape. Rectangle, square, it's fine. Square is nothing else but a rectangle with equal sides. Any input or output, wherever human and interaction happens, this is an input process, this is an output process. Any input output is done by this parallelogram kind of a structure, this a skewed rectangle, twisted rectangle. and a decision box is represented by this diamond. Okay, now this is how a flowchart is drawn. All right, so follow these notations. Now let's look at the flowchart. Come on, confidently start. Declare three variables, A, B, C, and a variable called max. You know what are variables, right? When you're writing a program, you have values. You don't hold those values in your hand. You put them in variables, you process them, and you display the result also through a variable. So those are variables. They are pockets in which you hold data. So declare variables for A, B, C, and for max. Accept A, B, C from the user. First compare A and B. Check if A is greater than B. Yes. So if I'm on this side of the flowchart, B is out of question. It can only now be A or C. Check between A and C who's better. If A is bigger than C, A is the max, else C is the max. You understand a yes and a no, right? Yes means it's satisfied, no means it's not satisfied. So easy. Similarly, if this check itself failed, that means who is out? A is out. Now it's between B and C. Compare B and C. If B is greater than C, B is the max, else C is the max. Whoever is the max, display the max. Whether it's A, B or C, come down, display the max and end the program. Tell me, is the flowchart clear? If you get a 5-mark question again, if it repeats, if it's come 3 out of 4 times, who's to say it doesn't come again? So if you get this question again as a program or as just a flowchart, will you be able to draw the flowchart? Now, this is your program and that is your output. In the exam, you just have to write your program. You don't need to show the output. I'm showing you so that you understand the program. All right, I'm teaching you. You're not teaching the examiner. So you just need to write the program. In the program, this is the crux, the main part of the program. All right, so let's focus here. If A is greater than B. Now, if this is satisfied, we come here. That means B is out of question. If A is greater, this is a syntax. This is how you write the program. Okay, that was algorithm I was writing in English. Here you're writing the way it's supposed to be written. Nothing over here is optional. Nothing over here can be changed. If this round bracket becomes a brace bracket or a box bracket, it will not work. Okay, that's syntax. That's the way language is written. So if A is greater than B, and if A is greater than C, that means max is A. Now, if this fails, that means A was greater than B, but A is not greater than C. That means C is the max. So C is the max. Are you clear? Now, if this whole section is not satisfied, that means if this was not satisfied, A was not greater than B, we come to the else part. That means A is out. It couldn't beat B. Why do I need to come check it with C? It's out. Now the contest is only between B and C. If B is greater than C, B is max, else C is max. Printf. Printf means display. Display max is equal to, that's your max is equal to, %d is the placeholder where this variable will come. Max is equal to whatever is the value of max, that is 7. So 7 will come here. This is my prompt. You know, like at the end of the program, there is a, when you run the program, you get a prompt below. That prompt by default is C/ whatever is your folder name / a lot of, the whole path is there. But if you know computers, you know how to modify that prompt. So in my courses, of course, I teach students. They keep their own name as their prompt, or their teacher's name, or their parents' name, or anyone's name, or anything, your favorite character, whatever. You can keep your own prompt the way you want. I obviously have kept my own name, but you can keep it what you want. This was the initial part of the program where you're asking for ABC. So you're telling enter A. This is what that printf does. That printf enter A will display this message, enter A. Scanf will capture this number that you enter. So I've entered A as 3, B as 1, C as 7. As you can see, amongst the 3, 7 is the max. So max will be displayed. When you run this program at home, enter different values, keep A, B the same and C as a different number, keep A and C the same, B as a different number, keep negative numbers, you will get the correct answer no matter what inputs you give. Are you clear? So we are done here. This was a program to find the max of 3 numbers. I hope you understood it. I hope you're feeling confident. If you were writing this exam, the first 2 questions are so easy. What a boost of confidence. You know you got your 10 marks in your pocket. Now, the next one. Explain a function prototype. So this is a theory question, but with an example. The moment the question has with an example, that means it's not just the theory, it's the example that will actually give you marks. So don't waste too much time on the theory. Nobody reads it. If your example is right, obviously your theory is right because you know the topic. So what is a function prototype? Do you know what is a function? A function is a pocket of code that you write which can be invoked from everywhere. Like, for simple example, you can print from Microsoft Word, you can print from Notepad, you can print from Internet Explorer, you can print from your PDF viewer, etc. But all of them don't have a printing program because it will be stupid, because you're just rewriting the same code every time. So there is a standard printing program of the operating system in its own libraries, and whoever wants to print, whether it's Word, whether it's Internet Explorer, whether it's Notepad, calls the print function. You do the printout and comes back and continues the program. Tell me, did you understand this? I can give you numerous examples. I think you got the point. So a function is a subcode, that subprogram that can be invoked from anywhere else in the program. Instead of writing that code everywhere, like I just explained to you, and making a mockery of the whole system, you write it as a function and you invoke it from different places. So this is a function max. It said, explain function prototype with an example. What example? Your choice. You can have a function to print something, you can have a function to display hello world, you can have a function to add two numbers. I've taken a function that checks which out of the two numbers is higher. Two numbers, okay, max of A and B. Because before this video, we did a program of max, so I'm just following the same logic, but you can take any example. So this function will accept two values, A and B. These are called parameters. Will accept A and B. Will compare. If A is greater than B, then return A. That means it will give back A, telling you A is the max. Else return B. This return is called return value. Since you're returning a number, the return type is int. Now all of this is explained. See, here I'm showing you how to solve the paper. But like I said when I started the video, you also have to know the subject. If you don't know, learn the subject. Don't mug up programs. For God's sake, don't mug up programs. One change in the question and the program will change. Don't mug up programs, okay? And even if by mugging up programs you manage to get marks, you are only misleading yourself. This trick will work in C. Programming is the easiest programming subject in the whole journey of engineering. It's only going to get bigger and bigger and more powerful. That approach will take you nowhere. Put the effort, learn programming. Understand this. I'll repeat this once again. This is a function. These are the two parameters it accepts. That means values. When you call this function, look here. When you're calling max, you are sending two values A, B. So those values will come here. It will check them. It will return either A or B depending upon who is bigger. If A is greater, it will return A, else it will return B. Since it's returning a number, its return type is int. Are you clear? So this is the body of the function. I say again, this is the body of the function. This over here is the declaration of the function. This is what you call a function prototype. Are you clear? Function prototype is the declaration that you write above main, telling the compiler that there is a function by this name after your main, so don't forget to compile that. That's the answer. That's what I just said. This is what you will write in the exam. Function prototype is a declaration that we write above main, informing the compiler that so-and-so function exists and needs to be compiled. Because the compiler, please tell me you know what's a compiler. Please tell me, right? Compiler is the program that converts our program into binary and gives it to the processor. We, humans, write the program in C language. Then we give the program to a software called compiler. Your teacher would have said, right? Compile your program. Compiler is a program which will look at our program, convert it into binary, machine language, and make an executable file, a bin file which converts into an executable file. That is given to the processor and the processor will run the file. Are you clear? So, when the compiler is compiling our program, compiler is not a human. I said it 3 times. It's a program. So, when it's compiling a program, it will stop when main ends. Are you clear? Anything written below main will not be seen by the compiler. So what can you write? There's no syntax rule on it because it won't even be seen by the compiler. So you can write the lyrics of your favorite song. You can write the author of the program, the logic of the program, the shortcomings of the program, the further improvements possible. That's what professionals do. That's what you write below main if you want to. Any documentation, because there's no rules to it because compiler will not look at it. But you also write functions below main, and these functions need to be compiled. So for the compiler to look here, telling the compiler that there is a function that it has to compile, you inform the compiler by giving this prototype. Are you clear? Remove this line and this will not be seen by the compiler. Tell me, did you understand this? So that's what you call a function prototype. How does a function prototype look like? Exactly the same as the heading of the function. Are you clear? Except that it has a semicolon because this is a complete statement. This then invokes the body of the function. So that is why this whole body is here. So exactly the same as the heading. You give the return type, the return data type, the name of the function, and the list of the parameters. You may not write the parameter names over here, but you still need to give the list of the parameters with their data types. Are you clear? Basically, just copy this line, paste it here, and put a semicolon, and that is called your function prototype. Okay, this is the theory. No examiner will read the theory. If your example is perfect, the examiner knows that you know the matter. But still, if you want to write theory, a function prototype is also called function declaration, blah, blah, blah. Take a screenshot and read it. Okay, are you clear? The three things it will tell you is the return value data type, the name of the function, and the parameter list. Are you clear? Remember to put a semicolon at the end. It's a complete statement by itself. And where do you write this? Above main. The function comes below main. You may even write the function above main. Then you don't need the prototype. I will not confuse you. This is how you do it. There are various ways of doing programming. You don't need to learn all at one time. You need to learn one to become a programmer, master the skill of programming, and then explore the other ways of doing the same thing. Are you clear? Now, superb question. In every paper, there are questions which are given so that students definitely pass. Okay? They don't want people to get KT. Still people get 50 to 60% people. In some colleges 15 to 20%, depend, but on an average 45 to 50%, some colleges 50 to 60% people in C programming get a KT. Sad, very sad. You know why? Somebody gets a KT in math, somebody gets a KT in physics. I don't really care. The relevance is not too much in your field. You can very much understand, especially those drawing and all those subjects, mechanics. You won't be using them as a programmer. But you get a KT in C programming in first year, it's so demoralizing. Every time after this, in the 6 more semesters of engineering, every time there is a subject which is about programming, there is an inherent fear in that student. That's what I don't want. Are you clear? So people say when placement season starts, it's going to start in a few months. When your final year students will start getting placed, the whole reason why you do engineering is to get that superb job. At that time, you'll keep reading these reports. Okay, you can Instagram it, you'll get it. Infosys, Wipro, TCS, Accenture, all these big companies head saying, sadly, 70% engineers are unemployable. They still get employed, but not in these firms. They are unemployable because they have the degree, but they have no knowledge. No knowledge means they just don't know how to write a program. Across the table, tell you write a for loop. They start fumbling. Yeah, come on. Who's going to employ a person like that? There'll be so much time wasted in just training that person to become a normal engineer. So they don't get picked up and you don't want to be in that slot. Okay? Take this seriously. Now, so this was a question which was to help people pass. I mean, look at the question. But just by seeing this, if you cannot figure out what it does, there's seriously a lack of interest. String length. That's the name. What do you think string length does? It gives the length of the string. So it's an inbuilt function included in string.h. When you write string length and you write the name of a string over here, it will tell you how long the string is. What do you mean by how long? How many characters? A string is a set of characters like Bharat, Bharat, 6 characters. So that is the length. Acharya, 7 characters, and so on, right? So that it will give you the length of the string. Come on, what do you think it does? String compare. Yes, exactly. You write 2 strings inside and it gives you the comparison. It will tell you whether the 2 strings are equal. Where do you use this? Password checking. I mean, there are various examples. The simplest example, what happens the moment your phone is locked? Whenever you come to your phone or you come to your laptop, what do? The first thing, you have to enter your password. What is that? A string. It is compared with the password that's stored inside. If they're equal, access is allowed, otherwise access is denied. So that's one simple place where it's used. It's used in searches and it's used in various things. When you're shopping, you give like, I want a green shirt as an example, or blue sneakers or something like that. So what you write is then compared with the description of all the products and then the list is found. Anyway, so you get the point. So that's string compare. Okay, third one, if you cannot guess by looking at it, I understand. String concatenate. We don't use the word concatenate very often in life. Concatenation means joining. String concatenate will concatenate 2 strings, will join 2 strings. So when you fill up forms on any app, you write first name Bharat. I'm giving my example. Last name Acharya. Then it stores the name as Bharat Acharya. That is string concatenation. Tell me, did you understand? It will come address. For address line 1, line 2. So I'm not going to say. Okay, but whatever, line 1 is your address, line 2 is your address, then your final address is concatenation of these strings. Tell me, is that clear? Keep one thing in mind. When you use string concatenation, it'll directly concatenate two strings. It will not put a space in between. So Bharat Acharya will become one word, Bharat Acharya. If you want space, you have to put that space. Are you clear? Put that space before you concatenate the two. Just telling you in practice when you use it. Alright? So these are the answers for all the three. Screenshot, save. You'll find these screenshots in my Instagram, bharatacharya.in. I mean, just Instagram my name, you'll get it. So, string length. The syntax is string length. You write a string inside, gives the length of the string, gives you a set of characters. Every string ends with a null character, \0. It will not give you that null character in the length. Obviously, the length of Bharat is 𝗵𝗂𝗏, not 𝗵𝗂𝗏 with a null character. So, obviously. So, this is an obvious thing, but you still have to write because if you're writing a theory answer, you'd write. But again, everything is with an example. Okay, it's not a theory subject. So you have to write the example. No one reads this. They see this. If the example is right, you got your marks. So I've defined a string. A string is a character array. So character array. The array means square bracket. Okay. Learn the subject. Learn programming. Okay. I'm giving you the answers, but the full explanation is when you learn the subject. Watch the videos. It's not too late. It takes 4 days to master the whole subject. Watch the videos. Get on board with it. If you are understanding the logic, if you're understanding the video, this video, you will understand all of those. Alright, it's me talking. So, string, character, string array, and I've defined it as Bharat. Printf, string. So the string is Bharat, I've displayed the strings. %s means you're displaying a string. So this is my string Bharat, and length. So length, %lu. Lu means long, unsigned. Long means the length could be as long because the string could not be just Bharat, it could be a whole book. I may store a whole book in an array and ask for the length. So that length can be very big. That is why the type specifier is long, and unsigned because the length can never be negative. No matter how small the string is, it cannot be minus something. So that's why unsigned. So that's why LU. Everything has a reason. Alright? Everything has a reason. If somebody just explains it to you and it fits in your head, you'll never forget it. Don't mug it up. Okay, this has to be S because you're displaying a string, and this has to be LU because you're displaying a number which is long and can never be negative. So long unsigned. String length, this is what the examiner wants to look at, whether this is written correctly or not. String length with this name of the string. And the result will be, since the string is declared as Bharat, the length will be 6. Are you clear? So that's the example. This is the theory. That's your string length. Remember, the whole question is 5 marks. That means each of them is what? Between 1 and 2 marks. So it's 1 and 2 marks. Alright? The example will give you the marks. The examiner will just see whether you written theory or not. But you write theory and no example, you don't get marks. As simple as that. The question is about examples. Alright? So there's no escaping this and writing this and managing to score. Yeah, maybe out of all of 5 you'll get 1. Maybe. Alright? But that's not what you're targeting. That won't even get you to your passing score. Now, next one. String compare. This is the example. This is how you do it. So I've created 2 strings. By now you know what is happening over here. So I've named them S1, S2. You can name them what you want. STR1, STR2, whatever you want to. So I wanted it to fit over here with a good size. So that's why I've kept S1, S2. So the names. So S1 is defined as test. S2 is also defined as test. For all you know, this is my password. So result. Will string compare. Will compare S1 and S2. Okay, don't look there. Please don't look there. What is the fastest way of comparing two things? Tell me. Look here. Look here. I give you 2 numbers, you're a computer, I tell you compare them. What do you think is the fastest way of comparing them? Subtract them. Comparison means subtraction. Just subtract them. If the result is positive, the first number is bigger. If the result is negative, the second number is bigger. If the result is 0, they are equal. This is how comparison happens. After this, in any subject, you hear the word compare, you will hear it. Okay? A lot of subjects in engineering are about computers in which this happens again and again. Any subject you hear the word compare, you should realize it's nothing else but subtraction. How do you spell compare? S-U-B-T-R-A-C-T. Anyway, so comparison in computers is done by subtraction. So what will this do? String compare will simply subtract them. If the result is 0, that means they are equal. If the result is anything other than 0, they are not equal. Are you clear? So this is string compare, will return a 0 if they are equal. Will compare. What will it compare? It will compare the ASCII values. Every string is a set of characters. Every character is stored in their ASCII values. So we'll return the difference in the ASCII values. If they are equal, the difference will be 0. So it will return a 0. Are you clear? Lastly, string concatenation. It will concatenate, like I said, it will join 2 strings. So string 1 is 1. String 2 is 2. 10 is their size. Okay. The third string, or I'm combining string 1. string 2 into string 1. So I'm not creating a third string. You can create a third string also and combine however you want to do it. It's your program. So I'm writing string cat s1 s2. So it will combine s1 and s2. Whatever you write first becomes the destination. So it will combine s1 s2 and store the result in s1. So s2 will remain the same, but s1 will now become the concatenation of these two. This was 1, this was 2. The result of concatenation is 1, 2. Are you clear? Do you notice there is no space? Like I said, it won't put a space. You want to put a space, you put a space here or within s1 before you do your concatenation. Are you clear? So that was this answer. Now, the last question of question number 1, last sub question. Define a structure. Oh, this is the second last topic of the whole subject. The last topic is what? What is in your syllabus? What is the last topic? Pointers, memory management and pointers. The most fabulous topic of C, but ironically, in the last 4 papers, there's not been a single question from it, which means in this year it will come. They can't just keep skipping it. Then why is it there in the syllabus? They don't ask it because many people find it tough. It's not tough. It's fabulous. It's the best topic of C, pointers. All right. And the second best topic of C is this, structures. So right now I'm talking about structures because that's the question. Pointers I've covered it intensely in the course. In fact, I've gone ahead of the what is there in Mumbai University. I've covered much more, which you'll learn next semester in DSA. Using pointers, make a structure of pointers that becomes a node. Using those nodes, combine them, you make a linked list. Using linked list, you make trees, and then you run various algorithms. When you hear, you watch these videos of mock interviews, Amazon placement, Netflix placement, or those the FANG companies. There's so many mock interviews on YouTube. All of them involve trees which are made using linked lists, which are made using pointers and structures. Are you clear? So this is where all your knowledge finally accumulates. All right. What is a structure? A structure, as the name suggests, is a set of data. All the data may or may not be of the same data type. You may have int. You may have int character float. You may have int character array. You may have a structure within a structure. So a structure is a collection of data, as simple as that. All right. So I've created a structure by the name student with the proper example. See, definition is this: collection of data of same or different data types. Then you can write your heart out in theory. No one will read after this. They just want this definition. Then what they want to see is whether you know how to create a structure, declare its instances and use them. This is the example. This is what you have to show, the syntax. Are you clear? Now, what structure have I created? Look at this structure. A student. The student will have a name. I made the name as a character array with 100 characters. 100 characters enough for the name. On an average, you can keep whatever size you want. Age will be a number, so it's defined as int. Score will be a number, but it can also be a fraction like a percentage or whatever. So I have given it a float data type. So purposely to show that a structure can be of different data types, I have created 3 different data types: character, int, and float. Are you clear? So what does this do? This creates a template, all right, a rubber stamp that if there is a student, that student will have a name, age, and a score. So this becomes the template. Using this template, using this die, using this rubber stamp, you keep punching out instances. S1, S2, S3, S4, S5, S6, as many students in a class, you can keep creating them. The moment you create S1, I don't need to tell what S1 has. S1 automatically has everything. S1 has a name, an age, a score. S2 has a name, an age, a score, etc. So you use these structures as templates to create instances and create a whole program. Now, to give you the simplest example of this, every product on a shopping site like Amazon, every product is a structure because every product has a name, has a description, has a price, has a discount, has a final price, has an image, has a review or reviews, has a ranking. These are properties which don't apply to one product. These are properties that apply to every product in that application. So first you create a structure by the name product. You decide what are the attributes it will have, and then using that template, you keep punching out new products as many. Every time you upload a new product on Amazon to sell, it automatically acquires these properties and then you fill them up. This is the name, this is the image, this is it. You get my point? Yes. Next semester, you learn object-oriented programming in C++ or Java or whatever, whichever language. There you will understand the struct then becomes a class, and these instances then become objects of that class, which by default get all of these properties. Are you clear? So like I said, where C ends is where DSA and next semester subjects begin. Are you clear? So this is your gateway. This is what's going to take you into your next session or next semester. So this is how you declare a structure. This is how you create instances of the structure. And this is how you use various attributes of those instances. Like look here, s1.name is the name of student S1. s2.age, I can even write S1, but I don't want all examples to be of S1, so I've just mixed and matched. s2.age is the age of student S2. s3.score becomes the score of student S3. So any product dot description becomes the description of that product, and so on. All right. So that was question number 1. Now, I have solved all the questions that have come in the last 4 papers of Mumbai University, not just as paper solution, in the subject, in my whole video course, everything is solved. The entire course is there on my website. I teach various subjects, 𝗕, 𝗂𝗍, 𝗕, 𝗕5, 𝗕6. These will come in the next semester. 𝗕 will come again in the next semester for you all. So for this semester, for now, C programming is the course. Go to my website, Bharat Acharya Education, take the whole course, learn C programming. Like I said, it takes 2, 3, 4 days to finish it. Don't give excuses. You have ample time. Pick it up. And in the beginning of the video, I made you understand how important it is for a student to crack this. This is the first hurdle. You cross this, you build a confidence. Forget the score. Score is there. It's there in your report card. But that confidence in your spine, that after this, whenever there is a subject related to programming, this score will keep reminding you that you have aced it, you can do it, and you will do it. On the other hand, a bad score in C becomes a mental block. I've seen it. Okay, I've been teaching for more than your age. All right, that's the kind of experience I have. You meet engineers, you see their score, you see their GPA. Yeah, great, 7.5, 8, 8.5, awesome. How good are you at programming? You tell them write a for loop, they start wondering. You tell them write a program to sort an array, they start wondering. Now, come on, you won't get placed. Not in the big companies, not in the dream jobs that you're looking at. Yes, you will still get placed, but the job profile will not even be of an engineer. You just wasted all your engineering because you didn't focus on that thing which is so important. The next generation is all about AI. People say, if there is AI, why do I need to learn programming? Stupid people say that. Who's going to create that AI? What do you want to be? The person who uses AI to fill a form, or the person who creates that AI? That's where the jobs are. Are you clear? And for that, you have to be an ace programmer. It's only getting hotter. It's only getting better. And you are the people who's going to take this programming industry to the next level. So be good at this. All right. Hope to see you on my website. Wish you all the best. Do well. We're going ahead.